But you know what? A lot of people don't understand this about Dennis Rodman. I've done a couple of signings with Dennis Rodman. Matter of fact, it was B. Dennis and D. Fisher. A lot of people don't realize the thing about Dennis Rodman. A lot of his shit that he did back in the day was very thought out.
Oh yeah,
and you know what I'm saying?
Pre-planned, calculated.
Pre-planned, calculated. Dennis is extremely intelligent person.
Yeah.
Married himself, doing the shit with Madonna, all that shit.
Right.
People was like, oh, that boy crazy. No, Dennis wasn't crazy. Dennis very. I sit there and talk to Dennis for 2 hours while we signing shit, and I was like, this boy ain't crazy. This boy smart as hell.
Yeah.
I can't do that shit, because I'm not. That's just not me.
Right.
But I got to give him props, and I loved him for that.
But Michael wasn't the reason. He didn't beat us in the championship. He did not beat us. We was on his ass. He didn't beat us. Dennis Rodman's the one who beat us. We had no answer for his ass, man.
Really?
We had no answer for Dennis Rodman. I mean, every time that they needed a second shot or something special or extra rebound or tip in, this was flying and winking and,
he said winking
and kissing. And Dennis not even like that. He just do that. I'm gonna tell you with Frank Bukowski, man. Dennis started wearing color contacts during the championship. He started wearing color contacts during the championship with some. He would be like he was trying to kiss Frank's arm and this shit, and Frank just couldn't take it, man. It was just the man in him just couldn't allow it.
I'd have lost it too.
And Dennis knew what buttons to push, man. And we needed Frank to rebound.
Oh, I said, brother hung out Sunday night in Toronto. It's a dangerous place. It's a dangerous place to take your energy. It is. Take your energy. Yeah, I think, Scotty, this is so funny when Dennis talks from a different position because Dennis always had to guard the toughest person. And then he always had to be Dennis Rodman on top of that. But from his planet, he was obviously a colonel in the Army from his planet. He can do it. Well, what did Scotty say while he was sitting next to Dennis?
I can pull it up.
Because he used to not like him.
Oh. Pippen didn't like Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
I can see that. I can see a lot of people not liking Dennis Rodman.
But until you get to know him.
Yeah.
If you have to play against him, hell no, you're not going to like him. But when you get him on your squad, you realize he's a puppeteer. That was amazing that both were sitting there.
Rodman's best game ever came against you guys.
What were his numbers?
March of 92. Rodman had 34 rebounds.
While a member of the Bulls or a member of the Pistons?
It was March of 92. I'm going to guess...
or was he with the Spurs?
He was with the Spurs, and he had 34 rebounds when he was with Spurs.
Oh, my God. Come on, Dale and Antonio Davis. Keep him off the glass.
Yeah.
Come on, Rick Smith.
But he didn't guard you, did he?
No. Well, yes, on switches.
Oh, okay. But he didn't. He would never. You were the best.
No, he would never. No, he's not that dumb. He's dumb. He was good, but he wasn't that dumb. He's not going to start off. Now, he might switch on a switch or coming off a screen, he might show out. But he's not, not off tip ball. No, he's not that dumb.
And he knows better. He had 6.
He knows better.
How many did Reggie have in that game?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and did we win or lose? If he got 34 rebounds, they better have won.
Rodman had 34 rebounds and 10 points. Reggie, oh, no.
Oh, no. That bad?
No. Did Reg get double figures?
Reg was 3 for 6 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3, and only 6 points in 36 minutes.
What the heck?
In 92? In 1992?
Rodman shut you down.
Oh, no.
He did. Maybe he did guard me that night. Oh, maybe I was ejected. Well, how many minutes did I play?
You played
That'll tell me a lot.
You played 36 minutes.
Yeah, then he guarded me. Oh, man.
Well, I do remember him leaving. Like, he was in the building, and then he just left. And I was like, well, where's he going? And Phil comes down and says, give Dennis a little bit of time off. He's got 48 hours, which we kind of all knew was going to get extended. And then when we found out he was going to Vegas, then it was Dennis just being Dennis. But We go in the swimming pool, guys. When he first came, he was quiet. I mean, he didn't really know anyone, and obviously there'd been a little bit of history when he was with Detroit and the Bulls, which I wasn't part of because I wasn't part of those Bulls teams. And he's very quiet himself when you go out. We used to ride motorcycles together and go out and grab a bite to eat. And he really doesn't talk a whole lot. He's not really engaging with the fans when he's not out at night and the cameras are so-called on and the spotlight's on. But he's a great teammate, a lot of fun to be around, and works real hard on the floor.
Knowing Dennis like I know him, and like we knew him, the Dennis Rodman that I knew in Detroit never drank, never smoked, never, gambled or did any of those things. And like I said, we were a tight unit with rules and regulations. And what I watch, and we're all getting a chance to peek behind the curtain. And the Dennis Rodman that I see is, it's a person that's winning championships and doing all these marvelous things on the court. But off the court, I see a Dennis Rodman that is asking for help and needs help.
Let's take a look at Dennis. Everything he does is with two hands. He gets it, one hand, two hands. That's what all young kids should watch. Watch how he positions himself, tips it, grabs it with two hands. Every time you see him rebound, it's with two hands, turns, outlets. Fundamentally sound into the game. 36 years old, leading the league in rebounding. The only two people to ever do that is Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain.
It's the same way with a player. He has some aberrant behavior that's going on. And if you sit back and you just allow, it's happening. Okay, now he's through. Now he's centered again. Now we're okay. Now we're back on beat.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like that.
That's a player or your kid, whether it's your child or your player. Yes.
Your kid too.
Yes.
So it was like that with Dennis, and I had watched him before. He's with the Detroit Pistons, and Chuck Daly, who I admired as a coach, was an animated coach. And as he got animated, Dennis would become more animated on the floor. It's like his energy source was right there, feeding into Dennis's energy source. So I thought, this guy he sometimes can go over the edge. I better just sit back and become quiet, and use that meditation practice while I'm sitting on the bench.
And to have the stamina that he had, it's pretty remarkable. He killed that you need a good night's sleep theory.
You have a little experience with that in there somewhere, don't you?
But I did try to get a good night's sleep every now and then.
And Dennis went through these different phases as a player. I remember back in the Detroit days, pre-tats and all that stuff. And you knew him a little bit then?
I did. In college, I used to always go up to the Pistons and work out with them and watch him. This was before he turned into Dennis Rodman with the tats. But the thing that amazed me as a young player was watching a guy go through his practices, or sometimes after the game, and I go in the locker room with John, Sally, and Joe and Isaiah and talk, and he'd be on a treadmill or he'd be on a Stairmaster, and they say he would do an hour after a game. So for me to see a guy that just played a game and his ability to go get on the Stairmaster for another hour, and then also playing against him. I never had a guy that I didn't think I could go around at 6'8", standing straight up, and laterally he could still slide his feet and draw a charge. To me, that was unbelievable.
He wasn't the most skilled guy, but when you talk about the greatest athletes to ever play in the NBA, I think Dennis Rodman is in that category. When you think about the stamina, what you talked about, Charles, just the way he lived his life and to be able to play with that kind of energy night after night, the way he could run, especially early when he was with the Pistons and he would chase people down and guard every position. That guy could have been a world-class triple jumper or 400-meter sprinter. I mean, he was incredible.